Well, hello there. How you doing today? In this video, I want to do an update to our irrigation ditch tubes. I thought when I used a small gauge wire and painted them aluminum color that would be all I had to do. But on careful consideration, I learned something different. I actually put an N-scale tractor in there, have an N-scale pickup in area near the irrigation ditch, and these irrigation tubes that I used look way too big. Let me turn the camera around so you can see what I'm talking about. Well, there's the N-scale truck, and you can tell the N-scale fishermen that are near the river there. These tubes are just way too big. As you can tell, let me put the N-scale tractor next to them. So that gives you a variable. So we're going to have to take all these, sorry about that, we're going to have to take all these out of here. And we found some thread. And I don't know if you can see the thread right there. That's what we're going to use. I got a piece of it in my hand right there. If I put that down here next to it, you can tell that it's more realistic for the irrigation tubes, but it's a little bit too long. Those tubes need to be about half that long and just barely coming out of that ditch. So we're going to make some changes to it, and I just wanted to give you an update. This really is not a step build video. This is an update to something that even the people that do a good job make mistakes and have to redo them. So there we go. Well, as you can tell, I've removed those bigger irrigation tubes. I've touched up the paint coming down the side of the bank. There wouldn't be any ground cover there anyway. And I've touched up the concrete color. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put these little thread pieces in there. I'm going to cut them the length of that box down there, of that pickup bed. And I'll come back and I'll show you what that looks like. And because had some holes inside that resin, we're going to pour a little bit more resin in there. So I want a little bit more resin in this end hole here. So I'll be back in a little bit to show you what the threads look like. Wanted to give you a little update on the little threads work for the irrigation tubes. I think they're looking pretty good compared to the truck there. If I put the little tractor on the lower part next to them, I think they'll work. You know, I stand about 6.5 feet tall, and I remember those irrigation tubes being about 5 feet tall, so they'd be taller than that tractor anyway. But now they look more uniform than what they did before.
They look more N-scale.
They look more N-scale, the wife says.
And not HO.
And not HO. So I'll do some more of these in this next piece of this video on camera so you can see how I'm putting them down in there. It's not as easy as you would think, but keep watching and I'll show you how I did it. Well, as I promised, I wanted to show you how I apply this thread. This thread is the new pipes, and as you can tell, the thread is really, really tiny stuff. I can barely get a hold of it. So what I'm doing is I'm using some side cutters, and that has a automatic arch to it. I'm using my N-scale ruler here, And I'm cutting these at the about an inch mark. So I cut one of them. You got to really pay attention because they disappear quick. So the best way I've learned to put this on is to put some glue down over the ditch bank. And put that arch into the glue and just let it set on that glue and not try to pull it over until that glue dries. So I'll do one more for you. Also, what you can do is cut these a little longer if you want, and then let the glue dry. Then you can trim off the excess edge as it comes over. But just do, you want these down in the water, some of them down in the water, some of them not so much. If you happen to get that in the wrong place, just use a pencil or something to help you get it. Now you can tell that piece is a little long. Well, that's basically how I do it. And then once the glue dries or it's setting down into the ditch part, I'll come back and cut that edge off. I know you can't see that very good, so let's try to zoom in if we can. Yeah. Right. Now I've zoomed in. Let me do a couple more with it zoomed in. So go ahead and make it about an inch or two long. Put your glue down on the side of the bank. You can do two at a time if you want. Just put your glue in there. And just put your thread in that glue and just let it set in that glue. Just make sure it runs the way that you want it to and not over the other one, because you'll fight that to get it to come straight so it's not overlapping another, what I'm going to call irrigation tubes. And I know it's a little longer, but that's kind of what you want to help hold it down into that ditch. And you can use a brush, a paintbrush, to press it down in or more if you'd like, down into your glue. Like I said, it's a battle. Whichever way you go with it, it's a battle. All right, you can see that that those tops are standing up. The ones that are coming out of there. So I'm going to be trimming them off a little bit so they match the length of the other one. So that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to run them down here. So this is, they shut the water off, so this ditch down here is doesn't have too much water in it. But they dam that up and they're trying to irrigate the most out of it as they can. So that's the process of putting the thread in the ditch. And from where I'm standing, I think that does look like irrigation tubes that are smaller. And like I said, once they're trimmed, I think they'll look pretty good. So join me as we finish this out, and we'll be back in just a second. The other part of this, using thread as tubes, you have to take and glue down your top area here. I glue down the bottom area into the ditch. Now I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to run my glue lines straight out and not follow the angle of the actual way the tube is actually going now, to try to get this to go straight. And with a little brush, you can take and start setting it down in that glue. The longer the glue has a chance to dry, the easier this is to set up and hold them in the right place. And as you can tell, they're starting to come up. And that's the reason why you want to take and start your bottom edge first and make it solid, so you can take these and brush them along. And as you can tell, they're slowly starting to adhere to it, but just keep brushing your glue and try to press into that glue with the end of your twine. Let me put it on this side. Maybe we can see it better. Hold on, be patient. There we go. Now you got a clearer view of what I'm trying to work with here. Let your glue set for a little bit. Try to come back down in it. Let me keep working it. That twine will stay down. Really fine thread, but it's a Zen scale train layout. So that's how I'm going to work it. I'm just going to keep, I'm going to let it set there a little bit, and now you can tell it's starting to stay down a little bit. You can tell my little tractor set next to it. Like I said, I remember these tubes being rather tall when I was doing irrigation work myself. Very long, very tall irrigation tubes. So I'll go ahead and let it go at that, and I'll keep working with that, and thank you for watching. Well, I believe that's a complete run on the new in-scale irrigation pipes. We'll pour a little bit more water resin in there to fill that up. Just wanted to say thank you for watching, and check back when we put a floor and an interior inside this little barn. Thanks for watching.